Well, I'm here in the garden and I'm laying out, positioning my grow arches, and when you see them you'll understand what that is. Trellises, vertical gardening, and here's what I'm doing and here's how they're going to look. First of all, I did a string. I'm real big on strings, and I marked out 45 inches. I'm going to be using some 50-inch cattle panels. I want the cattle panel to sit inside the stakes that I drive in the ground. Every 45 inches, I skip 3 feet, 45 inches, skip 3 feet, 45 inches. So in other words, I'll have 3 feet in between each grow arch, which I can put a tomato plant or a squash plant or something else. But anyway, here's what I'm doing. I've got it laid out. I'll start driving the stakes. I'll need 12 stakes. These are 2 feet long, I think. Let me measure. Yep. 2 feet long. I will put about a foot in the ground, maybe not quite. I'll leave 12 to 14 inches of the stake sticking up out of the ground, and that is usually plenty. I'll tie the panel to it, but let's start driving stakes. I've already marked it off. Let's just get to that. Okay, there's the stakes. Showed you this first row. That row, basically rinse and repeat. I'm making them 5 feet apart. The arch is going to be 5 feet wide, is what I'm saying. That should give me 7 feet or more headroom inside it. So let's put the cattle panels in. Well, I went ahead and put them up, and I'll show you how I fastened them to the stakes in just a second. How do you lift them up? How do you get the arch? Well, you do that the exact same way you put them. If you're going to haul them home in a truck, same way you're going to put them in a pickup truck. And if you don't know how to do that, then I've got a video on that, and it'll be showing right there. Click on that one right there. Pause this one, and click on that one. That'll show you how to put them in a pickup truck, and it'll also show you how to put them here. Basically, you put one end against that, and then you arc it over. Put the other end against that, and then you fashion them. Let me show you how I fasten them. I've used wire in the past. This time, I just used tie wraps. I put 2 on the bottom and 1 on the top. Probably could have used 2 on the top, and I may come back and put a second one on the top. When it gets full of plants and the wind blows, it could rock a little bit. The plants are like walking up a ladder. When the plant starts reaching and pulling, it brings some downward force on that panel, and that's why trellises will bow, whatever. Those plants are pulling up on it, and so the plants will stabilize it somewhat. But anyway, that's what I did. In the past, I've used wire, and wire works fine. Wire is a pain to get out when you get finished with them. We want to put them up for the winter, and I just felt like this. I've used tie wraps before. I just can't remember whether I liked them or not. It's been several years, but this is what I did this time. I used tie wraps. If I see them breaking, and I may even leave the little tabs on them, the ends on them, simply because I can just walk through and visually see whether or not anything's breaking out. I'm probably gonna cut them off because I'm just that kind of guy. I can't have tails sticking out. But anyway, this is the way you do it. Just put the cattle panel inside. We are inside the cattle panel now. Put the cattle panel inside, pushing against this stake, because remember, this panel is bowed over, and it's going to want to spring this way. All right, it's going to want to spring this way. So put the panel against this stake and against that stake, and just the force of the panel helps it to have some stability. And then you'll want to fasten it on the bottom and on the top. First rung of the stay of the cattle panel, and the second one also. So I'm gonna plant inside. Typically I plant outside. I do my rows on the outside of the cattle panel. You know, like so on the outside. This year I'm gonna plant inside the cattle panel. When you plant outside, I found that there's an issue with training some of the plants to reach up and grab it, and there's just a little bit more training involved. I think if I plant on the inside, it will automatically, it will be more likely to climb on its own without any training. Hope you can hear. I know we got a lot of wind, but anyway, there it is. 3 cattle panels, and waiting for some groceries in them. We'll plant some yard-long beans on them. We really liked those last year. I'm gonna plant some whole beans on one, yard-long beans on one, cucumbers on one, Burpless cucumbers, and then I've got some bush cucumbers I'll plant in the ground. The sun could have an effect on these cable ties, tie wraps. I found that the white ones do worse in the sun. The white ones deteriorate quicker, will break quicker. The sun just plays havoc with them a little bit more so than the black ones. But anyway, if you want to use wire, you can use baling wire, something like that. It'd be perfect. That's what I've done years and years and years. And you know, you can. I've seen Alderman Farms. They put a full T-post up, and that might be a better idea. I just don't want to waste that many T-posts on this when I know for a fact that these hold pretty doggone good. I've never had one break and come loose and spring and sprung, and I've just never had that happen. So I'm just saying it's my experience is this will be fine. Now you may want to put a T-post in it. You may not have a way to cut your T-posts off. You may not want to ruin a bunch of T-posts by cutting them off. I've just got a bunch of them that are bent and can only use a part of them. You know. Anyway, so this is why I did this. So these are 2 feet long. Put about a foot in the ground, foot sticking up. Tie wrap them, wire them, whatever. Put you some grow arches up. I really think you'll like the grow arch. It has always worked well for me, and it's very attractive out in the garden, I think. I think you think too, right? Okay, I believe we're done with the grow arches.